How long did it take Green Arrow to grow his mustache? Not long. It's suddenly a beard. Welcome to my YouTube channel and Comic Book Editions Volume 184. Today I'm going to put the spotlight only on 3 recent additions into my collection, but I think all 3 are pretty awesome. I hope you'll agree with me and stick around to see what they are. Before we begin, if you're new to my channel and haven't subscribed yet, I hope you take this opportunity to do so. The algorithm likes it when you give this video a thumbs up, a heart, a like, and of course comments are always welcomed as well. Let's get started. It's a 2024 treat to myself. It is a foreign edition comic book from France, Hercule Album number 3. I believe this is kind of the French equivalent to like an annual, like we would have here in the US. Essentially, there's 6 different comic books from the United States reprinted inside. The original US comics came out between 1980 and 1982. This has a copyright of 1984. The stories included inside are Wonder Woman issue 271 and 272 from Volume 1, Action Comics issues 530 and 531, which both are team-ups between Aquaman and the Atom. The Superman stories in those Action Comics aren't reprinted inside. There's the SuperFriends comic book, issues 44 and 45, and then Legion of Superheroes 278 and 279 are also included, all in full color. You know I love my foreign edition comic books, especially ones that have a different cover than what we had in the United States. This was never a US cover, but I always thought it should be. I love this. This was an interior page from Wonder Woman issue number 271, done by Jose Delbo. I tell you, when he passed away earlier this year, I actually paused for a moment and felt enormous sadness for the sheer fact that I never got to meet him. I was able to pass messages along to him through his daughter. He did 2 commissions for me, which I absolutely cherish. I always wanted a third, but essentially kind of ran out of money for that. And I do own some other original art of his. He was probably my favorite all-time comic book artist, and he passed away at the age of 90. 90 is a good number to live to. But the fact that I never got to tell him in person how much he meant to me is, it bums me out a lot. But we have these great treasures of his artwork. He was very fan-friendly from what I hear. Even back in the fall, when I tagged him as one of my favorite artists on Instagram, he even replied to my post. So this was something I was planning on posting on Instagram and sharing in an earlier Comic Book Editions video this year. And after he passed away, I just kind of needed a moment to sit down and chill and reflect. I always thought this image would have been a fantastic poster. I love the huge earrings that he always gave Diana. He was Wonder Woman's regular artist for about 5 years, and he's said multiple times how much he loved that job and working on that character. And to me, he will always be the one that drew my version of Wonder Woman. This had been on eBay for quite some time, like for years. This was on eBay, and it was like the only one, at least on the US version of eBay. And I had it saved in my watch list, and I wanted it. And I never pulled the trigger. And I did buy this before Jose Delbo passed away. And I say this only sort of kidding. So my friend Brian, Wonder Boy Brian on Instagram, and he and I always seem to be attracted to the same type of items when it comes to Wonder Woman merchandise. And he always seems to scoop up a lot of the stuff on eBay that I've been wanting. And there was just a little part of me that's like, if you don't hurry up and get this book, you know Wonder Boy Brian's going to snatch that up. And you're going to have a hard time finding it. So I did not actually know that Wonder Boy Brian watches my YouTube channel. So shout out to you, my good friend. Really appreciate that too. And I'm only kidding a little bit. Hey, if I can't get some of these items, at least I know they went to a household that would appreciate it and maybe I can get visiting rights someday. But no, it wasn't just fear of losing out on the item that made me snatch this. I had wanted this for quite some time. And at the beginning of 2024, I thought, you know what? I want to treat myself and get something that I've wanted. They had a make an offer on this too. And I got a pretty good discount on it and didn't have to haggle back and forth and just got my offer accepted pretty quickly and right away. And then with the passing of Jose Delbo, it just made the piece even more special. So it's here. It's in the collection. It is a little thicker paper than I was expecting, at least on the covers. It's bound a little bit different than some of the other, maybe not bound, but the type of paper that they use is a little bit different than some of the other foreign edition comic books that I have into my collection, but it's pretty awesome. I love the bright colors on this too. And who knows, maybe someday we'll get a poster out of this. We should. I certainly hope that DC has something planned to honor his passing, at least in some issue of Wonder Woman, because he was a favorite artist not only for me, but many other fans as well. But I thought this is a good way to get our video kicked off today. So, up next, look at this. We're going all the way back to 1961. So, I'm collecting Justice League of America and working on trying to complete the run. I have a 3-year plan trying to get 12 issues each year for the next 3 years to completely complete my Justice League run. Justice League of America issue 4 is the oldest JLA that I didn't have in my collection. And now I do. Special issue because Green Arrow joins the team in this issue. What's interesting about the story, so I'll kind of give you a brief synopsis of the story. So at the beginning, they're considering having Green Arrow join the team. They're like, yeah, I think he would be a good candidate for the Justice League. But before they can vote on it, there is an alien that's come to Earth who's kind of been exiled by an evil ruler on his planet. And he needs help from the Justice League, but he can't contact them. So he figures the best way to get in touch with the Justice League is to make them think that he's a criminal and say that he's going to destroy Earth, which he does. He also says that he's taken Green Arrow hostage, although we don't actually see that in the story. It's funny, for an issue where Green Arrow joins the team, he's actually not in the book that much at all. You would think, at least I would think that, he's the one who saved the day in the long run, and that's what prompted them to elect him into membership of the JLA, but that isn't the way it worked out. So Mike Sekowsky artwork on the cover and interiors. Gardner Fox, the writer for this. This was probably the most wanted JLA book that I had going into this year. And I was really heavily searching for this just because it was the oldest one I needed. The other one I wanted was issue 115. That's the most recent that I need. And I still haven't gotten a 115 yet, but hopefully before the year's over with, I can say I accomplished getting the oldest and the youngest from what I needed in my JLA collection. Now, the oldest JLA book that I need for my collection is issue 5. But once I get that, then I'll jump to issue 13. So essentially, I'm only missing one issue out of the first 12 issues of Justice League of America, which is issue number 5, first appearance of Dr. Destiny. I don't know if that will happen this year, but I'll definitely keep an eye open and be mindful if the opportunity presents itself. I got this book, though, at a steal of a price. I was really, really happy with what I paid for this. I was happy with the condition of the book, even though it's a little bit lower grade. It's not horrible. I was just happy with the way it got shipped to me. Just overall happy. And especially to have another one off of my Justice League list made me super happy. So you'll be seeing more Justice League in Feature Comic Book Editions video as I keep chugging off and trying to get at least 12 in 2024 for that 3-year plan. We're going to switch to Marvel, but first I want to talk about my back issue of the week. All this month, I've been devoting it to International Women's History Month and showing the female superheroes in my collection because I have a lot of comic book titles with those. This week, it's a Marvel superhero that's being featured. It's a Black Widow comic book. So check that out. It dropped yesterday morning on my channel. It's only 60 seconds long. I hope you enjoy my back issue of the week YouTube shorts. I have a lot of fun doing them. And it's just fun to pull out and reminisce about some books that I have in my personal collection. Okay, Marvel fans, we're finally getting to the Marvel portion of this Comic Book Editions 184 video today. Let's just show it and then start talking about it. Does that sound like a plan? I think it does. Oh, it's a big one too. Look at this. Right? So if you don't know what this is John Byrne's X-Men Artist Edition by IDW and Marvel. I have always wanted to have an artist edition. The first time I ever saw an artist edition, I was at my friend Brian, not the Brian I was talking about earlier, but my friend who I was actually talking about in last week's video that I went comic book hunting with. I was at his house and he had this huge artist edition, and I started looking through it, and it's high resolution scans of the original artwork from an artist or a run or a series that they did. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is just like, it's kind of like their tagline. It's like the best thing next to having the original art. And I always wanted one of these artist edition. This is a new reprinting that they did because the original book came out in 2018. Now at that time, probably financially, I wasn't ready to buy it. And then here towards the end of last year, they did a new version of this. They essentially reprinted it and put it back into print. I also think that these don't stay in print very long. So I didn't really buy it though for an investment purpose at all. I haven't opened it yet, but I certainly am familiar with some of the content that's inside because I've watched so many different YouTube videos of people that have done unboxings and showing this off too. It includes some John Byrne artwork. It doesn't have every page that he's done, but it has select pages, from his run on X-Men, which he's so well known for. This type of artwork that he was doing then is my favorite era of John Byrne artwork. So it starts with X-Men 108, and then it kind of goes through, is it 143, I believe, issue 143? And there's a few extras in there as well. It's got different pages. And what I like looking at the pages, there's many things because it's such a backstage peek behind the curtain or behind the scenes. You could see what got whited out or maybe he corrected, or if you wrote a note to someone on the side of the paper, that's included in there too. Many of these, from fans have met him and had him sign them over the years, so you saw where he signed them at, or some are multi-signed by other people like Chris Claremont or Stan Lee. It's so cool. I think these books are so cool, and I can't wait to actually just dig in and rip the shrink wrap off and enjoy this book for myself. There even is one page reprinted inside with Dazzler in it from X-Men 130, Dazzler's first appearance, which, by the way, if you didn't know, was coming out as a facsimile towards the end of April 24th, I believe. I'm sure we'll be talking more about that in the future on my YouTube channel, because your boy loves some Dazzler. We'll take a look at the back. Here we have the X-Men corner box artwork that John Byrne did. Looks pretty familiar, doesn't it? It does. And there's some other extras in there too. At the back, there's a section showing different covers that John Byrne did. So it has like the interior pages first, and then it has that little special section at the end with the covers. And there was even one pinup that I can't even place where that was published at because I had never seen it before. But the goal of wanting to own one of these is finally upon me. If you own an artist edition, tell me one thing. How do you store this? Because I don't think I have a shelf big enough. What I do like about this too, it came in its own like little box. So this book was inside a box, which was inside another box, which was inside a shipping box. So it definitely was very protected when it was sent to me. But if you own them, do you put it back in its little, the first box that it fits in nice and snug with, or how do you put this on a shelf, or how do you store this away? I'm curious to know. So if you have one, and also let me know if you have an artist edition, what version you have, because I'd be curious to know that too. My dream for IDW is if they would do a George Perez Wonder Woman artist edition. That would be like my absolute dream. Or even a Crisis on Infinite Earths. I think I could really get behind that too and look at all the detail and stuff. But there's so many stories that I love in here too. I think they picked the right one for the cover image too from X-Men 136. I love the Dark Phoenix saga. I reread that, about once every year to year and a half. I reread that entire story because it's just, to me, it's so timeless. But there's so much other great artwork in here too, and so many panel or pages that have panels in that I remember, like the one where Beast is picking up Cyclops because he and Jean thought that the team had died, and he grabs Cyclops and throws him, kind of has him up in the air, and he's like, "You're alive!" And you could just feel the emotion just through that panel and that artwork. It's just so good. So these retail MSR for $150. And I'm not going to lie to you. Right now is probably not the best time for me to be spending money like this. But let me tell you my excuse behind this. I don't know if you know this or not. I don't know if I've talked about this before. Maybe I have. So anytime that I win any money in a lotto, in the lottery ticket, either it's scratch off or a Powerball, or even if it's just $1, I cash the money out and I put that dollar in an envelope. If it's $10, then I just put it in an envelope. I just put it in this envelope, let the money accumulate, and someday I go, I'm going to buy something that I don't need, that I certainly want. And that's what I did with this one. Because I was worried that it might go out of print again before I got a chance to buy it. I used my lotto money. And I'll tell you why that was a great decision, because after I did it, and I'm like, okay, spent my lottery money on this, or at least this portion of my lottery money on this, I had no regrets over doing it. So that is a great decision then. I made the right decision for me. So I only showed 3 today, but I think they're 3 awesome. What do you think? Do you have any of these books? Are you hunting any of these books? Which was your favorite? I want to dialogue about all of this and more in the comments section below, as your comments are welcomed, encouraged, and appreciated. Coming up soon on my channel, of course, I already mentioned the back issue of the week. We'll have Fanboys Live and the Retro Review this upcoming weekend, Sunday night, the greatest DC comic show on YouTube, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 7:15 p.m. Central. There will be a half-price books comic book haul, which actually includes a few Bronze Age comic books I was able to find at the store. So that will be coming up on my channel soon. I have been promising an all Dazzler haul forever, and I swear to you, it is coming. Every time that I get ready to go, I think I'm ready to film this and put this out, I kind of like, no, I want to wait and buy this, or this is about to come out and I want to include this too, or this is on the way. And it just keeps getting later and later and later, but I got to put a kibosh and get this video out because I'm excited about doing an all Dazzler video on my channel, something I never actually thought I would do, which I'll explain more in detail why when I finally do the video. It is on my radar. That's the best I could say. I actually really thought it would have been out many, many weeks ago, but it's still on the radar. I haven't forgotten about it. So that's just some of the things that you can find or look forward to here on the Magic Lasso channel. Thanks again for watching and making it all the way to the end in today's video. I hope you have a fantastic week, and we'll catch you next week. Until then, take care. Bye. Boy, for only showing 3 books, I certainly talk a lot. I'm a talker.